How to politely tell a friend you have low energy to hear them ramble for hours.
Oh.
Me.
The two of us, when she got here, we're both like, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah. All my friend does is yap, 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 yap.
Yeah.
I'm like, who wrote this about me? I happen to be getting into situations lately where I join a voice call and have a friend continue to ramble nonstop about either their day or what they are currently doing. It's either only 2 of us or max 3. Even if there's 3 of us and the 2 of us listening to them ramble are quiet, only grunting here or there for acknowledgement, they still continue on. I do invite friends to voice chat because I know some of them are comfortable in silence. We stay on the call, ask stuff, or share things every now and then while still doing our own thing. I do try to keep up with my friend who rambles a lot, but I'm finding lately I prefer comfortable, semi-silent company. Okay, I feel like this is written a little bit weird, but basically they're saying like they check in with their friends, like they catch up over video call and one girly just won't shut the frick up.
Yeah.
Okay. They ended by saying, I get it though. My friend doesn't have anyone else to talk to. Their family situation isn't great. They did this ever since I met them, but lately I have low energy. I end up sitting there getting really overwhelmed with the constant nonstop talking. My want to also respond back just spoils inside of me because there's no breathing space for a dialogue. It feels like their monologue most of the time. Best I do is lower their volume and try to do something else. I'm not sure how to tell my friend they're starting to overwhelm me without hurting their feelings. Any tips on how to tell them kindly?
That is hard because I do feel like I could like relate to that sometimes, you know what I mean? Where like you have a really, like, for example, you have a long day at work and then you talk to a friend and then they're like just going on and it's like, yo, like I had a day myself, like,
yeah,
please, like I don't have the mental capacity to just like listen to this right now. But I feel like I've never had the right thing to say either. You know what I mean? Like in a perfect world, I think that you would just say like, I'm really sorry, like that you're, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're dealing with. But like, I don't have the energy to be able to like be a really good friend and listening ear for you right now. But like, I've never had the courage to say that myself.
I know.
So I'm not going to sit here and act like I have, you know?
I also don't think I've experienced like this exact thing, partially because I think that I talk a lot and I'm probably the one on the other side of this.
I don't think you are.
I do talk a lot though, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to talk a lot. I have heard other people experience this, and I think we read a story recently where someone was writing about they were like this friend, but they already told the girl, like they already told her, you talk so much only about yourself, like you aren't a friend to us, but we're a friend to you. And they tried to tell her about her like bad habits and she couldn't initiate the changes. Or what is the word that they use in Dance Moms, like when like Abby gives them changes and she's like, is it initiate? Implement. Implement the changes into the routine. The girl didn't implement the changes that her friends told her to, and the friends were like, we tried to help you be a better person, a better friend, and you just aren't capable of doing that, so we need to kick you out of the friend group. And their question was more like, how do we stop being friends with her? But the way that they handled that situation, I was like, no, you've done everything right up until this point. And I think that in this situation, it seems like it's happening a lot. You know, every time you talk, you're only listening, she's talking to you. I kind of think, one, you could say something along the lines of what Jimmy was like, what you would want to say in those situations, like log on and be like, hey guys, maybe let's only talk about good things today. I've had a really stressful day and I can't handle any trauma dumping, or like I can't handle any hard conversations right now. And you can say that in a lighthearted way. Like it doesn't have to be like no negativity, but just being like, guys, can we keep it light today? Like I need this for myself. Like tell me something happy that happened to you today. Mm-hmm. And then if she starts to be like, well, I had a terrible day, can I talk about it? Or like, I just need to tell you, you could be like, wait, I'm so sorry. Like, I am kind of being serious about it. Like, I don't want to cut you off and not be a good friend to you, but like, I'm being honest. I cannot handle hearing about something negative today. So I might have to log off or something like that. And if she just keeps talking about it, I think literally cutting her off and being like, girl, I love you so much, but like, I'm really, really sorry. I have to log off and I wish you the best, but like mentally I can't handle it today. And like, I wish the best for you. Love you. Hang up. Like, how could she possibly go on after that? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Do you think that's like valid?
I do think it's valid. I think it's fair to like say something like that. You know what I mean? Because it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think that's like totally valid.
Yeah.
I think it takes courage to say that though, especially when it's courage. Like someone that you consider a good friend and like you don't want to hurt their feelings and you want to be a good friend to them. And like, obviously they need an outlet because they're talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I think that's why therapy is great, because I think like for some things, it's just like with therapy, like you are able to just like dump. And you don't have to expect that they're going to be like, oh, and how about you? You know what I mean? Like, that's not what you do in therapy. So that's why, like, and I think a lot of people depend on their friends to like help with things like that with their mental health and stuff like that, with the trauma dumping of it all, because they just need an outlet. You know what I mean? And that's why therapy is so good. But you also can't be like, girl, get a therapist. Like, I don't want to listen to you anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that it's really fair what you had said. I think that you summed it up perfectly. I just think
it takes
just
so much
hard
to
say something like that to someone that you care about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's someone that you don't really have a buy-in with and you don't really give a shit about, like, you could just kind of weasel your way out and be like, done, you know, like, I'm not doing it, because like you don't really care that much about them anyways, you know, which sounds like a little shallow, I guess, but like, no, like, I'm not going to walk up to a stranger at the park and be like, oh my God, let me tell you about my day at work. Like, it was horrible, you know? Yeah. But with a friend, I might do that because it's like a safe space and I feel like, you know, they could at least cheer me.
Yeah.
But you don't always have the, you know, mental bandwidth to be able to listen to that all the time.
Yeah.
I know I don't.
No, that would be so annoying to just listen to someone talk like constantly all the time, even though I'm like, am I doing that to other people?
No.
I actually had something similar, like a friend similar to this in high school. So we were children. Like, obviously I did not have the like maturity and like honesty that I feel like I've gained now, but it was like three of us so these two girls had been friends since like childhood, like best friends. In high school, I started going to their school. We became like this mini trio, and friend one, I was closer with her for a while, and friend two, I'm like, wait, but I like her better. Like, so I just realized that friend one, I'm like, wait, she only talks about herself. Like, she never asks about me. Like, I am her best friend, but she is not my best friend. And then it got to the point where I kind of said that to friend two, this girl's lifelong childhood friend. And she was like, honestly, I feel the same way. And it's always been that way. Like, she's always felt that way about her. And we both kind of like distanced ourselves a little bit from her, and we became closer. And then we were actually like very, very close by the end of high school. And I kind of think that sometimes like that's just how people are. And that's like who they are, is only caring about themselves and like only talking about themselves. And maybe you could tell someone that and be like, hey, like, I want to talk to you about something and I don't want it to come off wrong, but it is something that I've noticed. I feel like our friendship is a little bit one-sided at times, and I do a lot of listening, and I feel like you don't really ask about me. Maybe you could have a conversation that starts that way. But at the same time, like, if they haven't realized it yet, do they really even care about you? Like, if she never asks about you and just talks at you every time you check in, like, is this a person that genuinely cares about you? Like, is this a friend you really need to have in your life? Like, I feel like this would be grounds, like, for me, and maybe this is the wrong decision. Like, maybe this is me being more like superficial and being like, cut. But I think I would cut someone out of my life before I spoke to them about it, because I think that my view on a relationship like that is like, well, we were never that deep because you barely know me. I know your life story, but like our friendship is just not that deep. And like, I don't even care about you that much because you never ask about me. Mm-hmm. So that would probably lead me to just cut them off before I spoke to them about it. Because I guess like what I'm trying to say is, if I cared about them enough to talk to them about it, I probably wouldn't have gotten to the point where I feel this way about them. Does that make sense? I don't even know if I just said something that makes sense at all.
No, I think it does make sense, especially when it's all the time.
Yes.
When it's all the time, then 100%, because that is a totally one-sided thing.
Yeah.
But I also think that there are times where, you know, you do have friends where it isn't always one-sided, and they do ask about your day and stuff like that too, but you're like, really, and I mean, OP's situation, it sounds like that to me, what you have just described. But I'm thinking of more like broader, like there are times where you've just had like, where you don't want to talk to anyone. Like, I have days sometimes where I'm like, and it's it's not that I'm like sad or depressed or anything. It's just that like I talk all day for a living. That's my job. So I want to just be done with work and then just sit in silence. And I don't want to talk to anyone, and I don't want them to talk to me. And I want to scroll on TikTok or on Twitter, and I just want to be in my own little world. And like, that's it. You know what I mean? And it's hard because sometimes I do feel like you have to make that clear. And like, I do that sometimes. But in terms of the friendship always being one-sided, yes, 100%. And I've had to walk away from friendships like that where I'm like, I feel like I'm, you know, just here for whatever you need. I'm like your little rag doll. Yeah. You know, but then it's not that like I need the world from you, but like you could show up for me in the ways that I show up for you all the time. Yeah. And you have to walk away from friendships like that because at that point it's not a friendship. You're just kind of like being used.
Exactly. Like that's like the thing where it gets to the point where it's like, I am your friend, but you are not my friend. Like you're just a person that I am a friend to. Like I do see what you're saying though about how people do probably go through phases. Like there's been a couple times where I went through breakups and my best friend is like there for me, and I'm like, dude, I look back on it and I'm like, we just hung out like how many times in a row and all I did was talk about myself. Like I didn't even ask about her. Like that was so fucked up, honestly. But like, and I feel weird about that, and I'm like, damn, I'm so glad she didn't just like get fed up with me and like drop me because like I'm just talking about myself and like this guy who's irrelevant for so long.
Yeah, but that's what friendships are for.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not just the good things. Like, and I try to make that clear. I have a friend who's going through something right now, and like they feel like they're burdening. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
They feel like they're burdening, you know, talking about these things and what they're going through and how they're feeling and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, like this is more than like a surface level friendship. Like we love hanging out with each other all the time, but like we're also like really good friends, and like allow your friends to support you. You know what I mean? Like when my mom passed away and like everything like that, like I depended on my friends so heavily. Like I know that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. You know what I mean? And like I depend on my family so heavily for certain things too. But I also am like try to be the first friend to show up when someone else is going through something. And I try to show up for my family in any way that I can. You know what I mean? So it's okay to allow, you know, yourself to be down sometimes and lean on other people and expect that people are going to do those things for you because you're doing that for them. You know what I mean? It's not one-sided just because you're having a really rough week or like a little rough patch in your life. That's when you know who your really good friends are. And that also shows what of a friend you are to them because they're willing to show up for you. Totally. You know what I mean? So I think like that's all good to keep in mind because it's like you shouldn't feel like you're burdening friends by asking them to be there to support you, because if not, then that's not a friend. Yeah. Like that's why we're friends, you know, that's why we have these relationships and why you build those foundations. It's not all the good things, you know, all the time.
I also think even just having the self-awareness to be like, oh, I'm burdening you. Like if you have that thought, you're probably not like that bad of a friend because you're thinking about them and like how they're doing, even if it takes a little bit to like realize that. Like I'm thinking about when like a breakup I went through and my one friend's there for me like every single day. After like, I don't know, days, weeks, maybe a month, I was like, holy fuck, like I'm burdening her. But I got there, like I got to that conclusion. And I feel like just having that thought of like, okay, I need to give her a break. That does show that you are a good, like you're trying to be a good friend to them because you're like, I can't just keep doing this to her. You're not just using that person and not giving them anything in return, I guess. So I wonder like in this situation that this girl's talking about, like it seems like her friend just doesn't even have a clue. Because if she's never said to you, I'm so sorry, like I really just, I need to vent. Like I know this is probably so annoying, but like I need to get this off my chest. Like if she's never even said that, like, is this girl even a friend to you? Like, or is it just someone that has been in your life for so long and you've just like been in close proximity to them? So in your brain, you're like, friend, yeah. And then you're just like, friend in your life year after year. Yeah, they're my friend. They're my friend. Have you ever like taken a step back and been like, wait, is this literally even my friend? Like, is this even a friend to me? Because I don't think it is. Like you're not obligated to be friends with this person, in my opinion. And I guess like depending on what type of relationship you've had, like if you can look at it from like a larger perspective and be like, okay, she is a friend to me because of XYZ, then maybe it is worth it to sit down and be like, hey, more recently, I've really just been feeling like I listen to you a lot. I wish you would ask about me more. I wish I could vent to you in the way that you vent to me. And then if she's like, holy shit, I didn't even realize I was doing that, and she changes her ways, it could get better. And maybe that's like the answer. But if you look at it from a bigger perspective and you're like, I don't even really want her in my life. I have enough fulfillment in other places, and this person is just, it seems like they're using me. Maybe that is time to like part ways, you know?
Yeah, and you think about it, and I feel like if you feel like the friendship is worth bringing those things up. Because, like, there are friends where that's happened, where it's kind of like you grow apart because of certain things, and, like, that's okay. And, like, you know, no resentment, no hate, just love, but, like, you just grow apart.
Yeah.
Whereas there are other friends where you go to them and you're like, hey, like, this is what I need from you as a friend. Because, like, I'm feeling like almost like begging you to be my friend at this point. And, like, I don't know, maybe, like, things are changing, and, like, maybe we do, you know, we are just going to grow apart, and, like, that's okay too. But, like, I would really love to still be friends, but I need you to show up for me more.
Yeah.
And I want you to tell me if there's something that I can do differently as well, because I miss X, Y, and Z about our friendship and, like, what it was, because I just feel like something's changed. And I've had those conversations too, and then things do turn around sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, it's just the communication part.
That is really hard though.
Yeah, like, but it does. It takes you to be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Dr. Brene Brown, I talk about her every time I'm on here. Like, she always talks about, you know, being vulnerable and being clear and things like that. Like, if you don't say it to the person, they might have no idea that they're making you feel this way.
Right.
So it takes vulnerability to bring those things up to them, but it also takes a lot of courage in yourself to say that. And then it also requires that same vulnerability and courage and reflection on their part. You know what I mean? So it's hard on both ends, but it's important, and it's just part of life and what builds strong relationships with people.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's so true. It is so hard. It's so hard because sometimes you don't even know what's right. Like, what is the right thing to do in the situation? Like, do I tell them the truth? Do I tell them, like, part of the truth and then leave out, like, more negative things? Or do I just, like, drift away, like, and see if they even notice? Like, it's so hard to know sometimes, like, what is right in situations. But I mean, communication is so important, but it takes so much, like, strength, I guess, and like courage, literally.
Yeah.
Wow.